Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Susie from Thread Quarters. Today I want to chat about what I consider to be the #1 sewing tip that I have discovered over my about 9 years worth of sewing. So if you want to know what that is and maybe we'll chat a little bit more about it, then keep watching. So, I've been sewing for coming on nearly 10 years now, and I'm by no means an expert at all. I still have so much to learn. There's still loads of things I haven't sewn, but I have come a long way since my very first attempts at sewing. But I have one major tip that I have picked up along the way. And I know this might sound really basic to some of you, but if you're starting out, maybe this is something to take on board. Or if you're struggling in some way, this might help you. It certainly helped me. And it's really, really simple. Buy the best you can afford. And I mean this across the board of everything to do with sewing. Now, I'm being very specific here, the best you can afford. So there's always going to be, or maybe not always, but more than likely there's always going to be the top of the top of the top that you just can't afford. And of course that's going to be so much better for your sewing. But just, if you can just pay a little bit more, you're going to get so much more for your money. It's going to make your life so much easier. Here are my examples. I bought my first pair of dressmaking shears from IKEA. Now, I'm not dissing it. They were really good value for money. For starting out, it was brilliant. But I have to admit, I struggled a bit with cutting fabric. And I just assumed that that was that. You know, maybe scissors, it's hard for scissors to cut through fabric. It's not. If you get a nice sharp pair. My IKEA ones weren't the best. They were fine. They did the job. I bought a pair of Fiskars. Now these aren't very expensive, but they're more expensive than the IKEA ones. And these are amazing. Now, they're not top of the range scissors, so I still have a way to go, but I am not prepared yet to spend £50 on a pair of scissors for my fabric. But I know that they would be worth the money because I know that they'd be exceptional. So like the likes of Gingers just popped in my head, but there are so many others out there. Kai, I think, is another one that are fantastic. Leave in the comments below what's your favorite brand of sewing shears. I know everyone has a favorite. At this point in my life, I have just used Fiskars, and I also have scissor sharpeners, and they work very well. Alternatively, your rotary cutter as well. That's a whole other video, isn't it? Are you team scissors or team rotary cutter? So that's that. Pins. I just went into the fabric shop and I just bought a pack of pins. And then I discovered glass-headed pins. So your cheap bog standard pin has got a plastic head, and when you're ironing, the plastic head can melt if it gets in contact with the iron. It could melt all over what you're working with. Also, sometimes they're not the sharpest and you struggle with trying to pin in your fabric. Invest in slightly more expensive pins with a glass head. They're not going to melt. They're also going to be an awful lot sharper. Plus also, you can start investing in pins for specific fabrics. Like you can buy entomology pins for silk because they are super thin and super sharp. So again, they cost a bit more money, but it's just that thing, buy the best that you can afford. Thread. When I was starting out, I had no supplies, no stash. I had nothing, and I felt every time I was starting a new project, it was, oh no, I've got to buy more. So I thought, oh, I know, I'll go on eBay and I'll bulk buy sewing supplies. That was a false economy. They were so much cheaper, quality wasn't there. It's something I didn't realise. I just bought really, really generic sewing thread, and I bought a whole rainbow of different colours, and it stuck in my machine, it knotted badly, it wouldn't go through my needle properly. I didn't really realise that it was the thread that was causing those problems with my machine until I actually bought some Gutermann thread, and then I realised, holy moly, it makes all the difference in the world if you just pay that little bit more money and you get decent thread. So yeah, as I say, buy the best you can afford. If you can only afford this, then you can struggle through. Not all generic thread is rubbish, obviously, but the stuff I got was really bad, and I learned a lesson. Zips. That's another one I did, an eBay one. I bulk bought zips, loads and loads of zips. And again, they were generic zips and they broke on me. They were terrible. And then I invested. I spent a bit more money in YKK, is that what they're called? Zips, so much better. So again, spend that little bit more money and you're going to get something that you're putting all this time into sewing up your own clothes, all this love and time and care and effort, and then you put cheaper haberdashery into it, and it's just a shame really, because your zip will break, your thread will break while you're wearing it, your buttons will pop, whatever, you know, and it's a shame. So if you can afford it, spend a little bit more money and get a better quality, and it makes life so much easier for you in the long run. Fabric, that's another one. Now this is a minefield, you know. When you're first starting out, you don't want to spend tons and tons and tons of money on top end fabric from the likes of Liberty or Lady McElroy, which is beautiful and the quality is superb. But obviously if you're just starting out, you don't want to spend that money and maybe make some mistakes or end up with something that you don't like the fit of, etc, etc. So you go and you buy something cheaper. But quite often cheaper, the quality is poorer, it's harder to work with, it doesn't press as well, and it actually makes it so much less enjoyable for sewing. It makes the work harder. You think, I can't do this, it's too difficult, I can't control the fabric. So if you can, try and just spend a little bit more money. I'm not saying start off using Liberty, but spend a tiny bit more money, or practice loads if you want on the cheaper fabric and then go in with your more expensive fabric. But I'm just telling you that the more expensive fabric, the better quality, does behave better as well and just makes your life so much easier. And then of course you've got the top, you've got your sewing machine. You know, if you can afford it, spend that little bit more, and you're going to be getting a machine that will hopefully perform better for you, have less hiccups, and just purr while you're sewing. Now I am on my first sewing machine. I haven't upgraded since then and it's done a great job, but it's definitely something I'm now at the stage now where I'm going, yes, I want to invest in a new machine and sort of move up a step basically. I'm still saving for that, but I'm really hoping maybe next year I'll be able to buy a new machine. We'll see. If you've got any recommendations of what machine you think I should buy for my next stage, drop a comment down below and let me know. I'd love to know. So there you go guys. It's just a fun little top tip, but basically if you can afford it, try and spend a little bit more money on your tools of the trade, and it's going to make your sewing experience so much easier, so much more enjoyable. So are there any other things that I might have missed? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear all your thoughts on this, and let's get the conversation going. I always love chatting with you in the comments down below after the vlog's been uploaded. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up And please do subscribe if you like watching my vlogs. Hit the notification bell as well, and then you'll get a notification when I've uploaded another video. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and see you again next time. Bye!